go to the next slide, which is all about roles deserving of interns, and talking about what you need to be thinking about as you construct the assignments, projects, and tasks that your intern might work on. First and foremost, we're advocates of an intern work plan, and that basically means figure it out up front. Have figured out before day one the projects and assignments the intern is going to work on, because again, like anything else, if you're figuring it out along the way, it speaks to whether or not you're getting the most out of the experience. That could be a waste of time of both yourself and the intern. If you do a good job of figuring all that up front, and in that first week you review it with the intern, then you can cut them loose and then execute against the plan. But if you've only got figured out a week or 2 weeks worth of work at a time, that means every week or 2 weeks you're going to have to sit down and figure out, well, what's the next assignment going to be? They're going to be idle during that period of time. You're going to take time away from other things you should be doing. To the extent that you can figure it out up front and in advance, we advocate that. Try to minimize the menial tasks. We're not naive enough to think that there won't be some. But if the entire assignment is menial work, that's just not going to be value added. Probably not for you or the intern. So we really ask that there should be a balance there, and try to minimize that menial activity as much as possible. Try to ensure an appropriate mix of both short and long-term projects, meaning there should be some things that they do every day as part of kind of keeping the doors open and the lights on as it relates to your business. And then they have free time where they can work on some longer-term projects. If the only thing they were working on was an outcome 10 or 12 weeks out, now that might be a little difficult, because sometimes they're going to make some calls for the day, they're going to send some emails, and they can't take the next step until they get information back. And they can't really progress in the project. But then if after they've done that, if they've got some filler work, so to speak, that they can tend to whenever they can, because it's always there for them as a short-term assignment, that's a good balance, that's a good mix. The emphasis is on experiential learning. So give them a chance to do. If all they're doing is reading about it, going to meetings to learn about it, sitting with you and hearing you talk about it, but they're never getting a chance to do it, whatever it might be, they're not getting a chance to do. And that's very much their expectation. They want to be able to experience it themselves, and they want to learn by doing. Work is okay. It doesn't have to be just about developmental activity or new learnings or training. Them actually sitting down and doing work on your behalf is perfectly fine. And in fact, they expect it. The more meaningful, value-added work they get a chance to do, I think the better internship you have to offer. The intern wants to feel good about what they're doing for you. They'll know whether or not what they're doing for you is valuable or not. And what they want to be a part of is advancing your business. They want to be able to say, hey, look what I did for that business in that 12-week period of time. I contributed something. I helped them get better. I helped them advance somehow, whatever that might be. And you know what? That's what you want too. Because if at the end of 12 weeks, your response is, I'm not real sure what that intern did for us. That wasn't good. If you can say, gosh, 12 weeks ago, here's where we were. And now look at where we are today. We're 12 weeks ahead. Or maybe we're ahead of schedule on some things. We've examined new markets. We've launched a new product. We've brought on new funders. Whatever it might be, you want to be able to demonstrate that through this intern's involvement with you, you've advanced your business somehow. There needs to be a balance between individual and collaborative assignments. Certainly, them working with other members of your team on project completion is going to be key. But if everything they're doing requires collaboration, that's going to probably result in some idle time. Because, tending to the intern and partnering with the intern on a project is probably not going to be the full-time responsibility of anybody on your team. So you want to make sure there's a balance so that, they are utilized as effectively as possible, and that you get the most value out of them, and that they get the most value out of their experience. It's important that the assignments are challenging, meaningful, and value-added. I've used those words a lot already today. These, generally speaking, as people bring on interns, they are pleasantly surprised by how much they're able to do. And a lot of times, too, they discount the pace at which the interns are capable of working. It's not uncommon at all to have a really well thought out intern work plan that the employer thinks would take about 12 weeks, or really just 12 weeks worth of assignments, only to have the intern come back after about 6 or 8 weeks and say, I've finished all these things. And, if that's the case... Okay. Excuse us just 1 second. Okay, because he asked me to use this room down. Sorry. Yeah, man. Yeah, okay. You said you were in here for an hour? Okay. We're set. All right. Sorry about that. We had a group that was trying to get into the conference room we were in. Apologize for that. But again, back to the fact that these should be challenging, meaningful, and value-added. It's going to speak to, again, the overall benefit you're going to see. And again, for each of you, you want to see benefit. And you're going to see the most benefit by how much you challenge your intern. And that's going to really drive them as well, I think, to think of new and innovative things they can do for you. If you have them doing the mundane tasks, they're not going to be exposed to those things that are most critical to you, which is going to really result in less value from them. And then the last thing is really allowing for soft skill development. And that, what we're really talking about there are things like, presentation skills, communication skills, the things that come with doing our jobs well technically every day. So, think about what opportunities you can provide for them that result in the development of soft skills. Is there a chance for them to present? Is there a chance for them to accompany you on a client meeting? You want to make sure they get away from their desks every so often. And whether that comes through experiential learning or actually, putting them through some kind of, fun, training or something like that. If your organization offers soft skill training and it's web hosted and it's not going to incur any large costs for you, give some consideration to having the intern participate. Another great way to develop soft skills is engaging them in the meetings that you go to, whether they be internal or external. Lots of different ways, but just be thinking about that. Again, we had our quote at the very beginning. Begin with the end in mind. If you know that finding opportunities to develop soft skills is desired, and you think about it in advance, you'll be able to come up with great, innovative, creative ways of doing that, and that'll be spelled out nicely before the intern ever begins with you.